Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kelvin Johnson. This is Windows 11 tutorial Inside Out Part 13. So I'll be discussing about hardware and devices in this tutorial. So I'm going to go deep into adding and configuring hardware devices. I'll also be discussing how to actually manage our USB device. We will also be updating and uninstalling drivers, and also I'm going to discuss about storage spaces and also talks about our speakers, microphone and headset. So it's probably only a slight exaggeration to say no two devices are alike. So we have our motherboard, our storage devices, our controllers, video and our network adapters and all other peripherals of all shapes and sizes combined to create nearly an infinite number of possible computer configuration. So when you install a plug and play device for the first time, the plug and play manage queries the device to determine its hardware ID and any compatible IDs. So it then compares this hardware with a master list of corresponding tags drawn from all setup information file in the system root folder. So if I go to my device and I right click on my start menu, or we can actually do, I just press the Windows S, and here you can see, let me just, here it's trying to go to the search, let me just cancel that, and then press our Windows S, and here you can see we have device manager, or I can just go to computer management where I have different options. So let me just start our computer management, and here you can see we have our device manager here. So in device manager you can see the different hardware which are actually configured on this device. So if I, for example, let me just go to my network adapter. You can see I have a network adapter which is actually installed on this device. Without a network adapter, I will not be able to connect to the internet. And also if I go to my printer queues, you can see we have our printer which is the HP LaserJet 4350, and also we have some other, if I go to system device, you can see we have some other peripherals which are also configured on this device. But first of all, let me go to my network adapter. So my network adapter, you can see if I right click on my network adapter, you can see we have different options. I can update the driver, I can disable this device, I can uninstall this device, or I can actually scan for hardware changes. And also if I go to properties, you can see we have more options when I go to properties. Here with properties, if I go to driver, you can see we have the option also to actually you can see we can click on the driver details. So it's going to give us the driver details which is actually installed on this device. Let me just click OK. Here we have the option to actually update this driver. So if for example you are using a laptop or a desktop device and there is a new driver available on the website of the provider of that device, so we can actually click on update driver, and here we can actually search automatically for the drivers, or we can browse our computer to actually install the driver. So let me pick from a list of available drivers on this device. So you can actually go to the driver. You can see I only have one connection here, one network card, and I can just click next. So you can see that it's trying to install, it says installing the drivers, and you can see Windows has successfully updated your drivers. So it says Windows has finished installing this driver for this device. So let me just click close, and if I click close, you can see my network adapter try to refresh. Let me just click close, and you can see it just refresh. So what we can actually do after updating our driver, you can see we can decide to uninstall this device. Let me go back into properties, and if I go to my driver here again, here you can see we have the option to actually uninstall this device, or we can also disable this device. So if I disable this device, you can see I have this is my network connection here. You can see it's my network and internet settings. So if I say disable device, let me just try to say I click yes. So if I disable this device, you can see that my internet connection just got disconnected, and right now I don't have internet connection anymore. So here I have the option to actually enable this device back again, and now it's trying to refresh and my device will try to connect again. As you can see, my internet connection just come back again. And let me just show you one thing again. If I go to power management here, you can see we have some options. It says allow the computer to turn off this device to save power, allow this device to wake the computer only allow a magic packet to wake this computer. So when you pull this off, actually, it says allow the computer to turn off this device to save power. So by putting this off, sometimes when you're having like network issue or network connection issues, by putting this off, your network adapter will not be turned off to actually save power. It will always be on. So let me just put that back on because I'm using a virtual machine on this for this training. So, and here you can see, if I go to the advanced option, you can see we have the advanced option, which I have the option that actually says so the value is disabled, and here we can actually click on the different properties to check our value. And here we have the event. You can see that under the event, we can actually check if there are any errors or if we are having issues with our one of our hardware. We can actually check on the events here. You can see every hardware has its own event, which you can check what kind of error you receive. So if I scroll down a little bit, you can see it says device install requested, and so it was when I tried to actually install this device not quite too long ago. Here we can see some other options. I said device configured, and if I scroll down, I think this is today, device configured and device not started, it says, which is the 19th, and that is today. So, and also if I go to the resources, you can see the memory resources this device is actually using, and the input request that is this device is also using. And here also, if I go to details, we can get the details description of this device, which is the Intel R82574L. So let me just close that. So the same thing also goes for my printer or some other hardware. If I go to my display, for example, as well, I right click, and you can see we can uninstall this device. I can scan for hardware changes, or I can go to properties. And also, when you plug a USB device to your computer, for example, most of the time the USB device, you can actually check if, for example, you plug a USB device and that USB device is not working, or you are having issues with that USB device. What you will actually need to do is to go to your device manager, and here we have the universal serial bus controller. So every USB device which are plugged into this device is always going to appear here. So here you can check if there's any yellow mark. For example, there's a yellow mark which says that the device is missing a specific driver, or if it can always gives you some other option to tell you that there's a problem with that USB device you just plug in. Or if you try to actually connect a plug and play, even if it's a printer, it's going to actually tell you if, for example, the printer driver was not installed successfully. Because what happens is this: if you try to plug in a USB a plug and play device, so your device is actually, that device is going to check on your computer to see if it has the standard drivers actually for that device. So if the standard driver is not actually configured on that device, or if you have not installed the driver on that device, definitely you're going to actually see a kind of a yellow question mark which says there is no driver, or the driver is not compatible with this device. So you need to go to the manufacturer website and download the driver, and then you will have the option to actually, either you can just double click and install that driver, or you can actually click update driver, then to browse. You can say not search automatically for the drivers, which you can actually do. Then your device will, this device then will check on the internet to see if it can download that driver and install it on your device. Or you can actually browse for your computer, and then you just says pick from available list, and here you can see we have the HP LaserJet 4350, and then we can actually have, if for example it's not actually showing here, we can actually have a disk, and we can browse to that location of where the driver is, and from there we can decide to actually install the driver. So let me just close this and close this. So that's how you actually update a device driver, if should in case there's an error message which says that the driver is not compatible, the driver is not installed on your device. So apart from adding actually a plug and play device to your Windows 11, sometimes you want to also add, for example, a Bluetooth device. You want to connect a Bluetooth device to your Windows 11, or you want to add a hardware device. So let me go to my start menu, and here we have the settings. Here you can see I've pinned the settings to my taskbar. So just click settings. So the settings is trying to open. And here in settings, you see we have the option called Bluetooth and devices. So if I click Bluetooth and devices, you can see we have the option called devices. We can add our printers and scanners. You can click here. You have your phone, which of course you can access. You can connect your phone to your Windows 11. We have our cameras, mouse. We have our pen, autoplay, and USB. So, but here it says devices. So if I click, we have the option called. You can actually click the add. You can see we have the options of inputs. We have our audio. We have our generic the PMP is our monitor. We have our internet connection, and you can see we have some other hardware devices. But here I can actually click on the add device. So you see, by adding device, we have the option to add we can add a Bluetooth device, we can add a wireless display or dock, and we can have everything else like a S-Bus controller with wireless adapter and more. So here I'm actually using a virtual machine. On this virtual machine, I will not be able to add a Bluetooth device on this virtual machine. So if I'm using a physical device for this training, so what you just need to do is to click on the Bluetooth here, which of course is you're going to pair that device. Okay, let me go to my physical laptop device. Let me just try to bring the settings of my physical laptop device. Let me just go to my settings. So let me just move this to the screen. So this is my physical laptop device. So my laptop is also Windows 11, and on this virtual machine I'm also using Windows 11. You can see I'm using an HP EliteBook 850 G6. And if you look at this device, if I go to system here, you can see I'm using actually a VMware virtual platform to do this training. So let me open again my system settings for my laptop, and here if I go to Bluetooth, you can see I have a Jabra Evolve Certified, which actually paired to this device. At this moment I'm using a different headset to actually do this recording and not the Jabra. And also here you can see we have the Bluetooth. Say the Bluetooth is on. It's also discoverable. So if I click add, and here you can see it says add a device. Choose the kind of device that you want to add. You can add a Bluetooth, a wireless, or everything else. So if I click Bluetooth, it says make sure that your device is turned on and discoverable. So here we can see we have, that's my television I have at home, the Samsung, and also you can see that my Bluetooth right now, my Jabra Evolve is actually connected to my Samsung right now because my wife is watching television, because I'm actually doing this recording from my sitting room, and my wife is actually sitting not too far from me, but she's using the headset to watch the television because she said I'm actually disturbing her doing this recording. So you can see that's how you add a Bluetooth. Then definitely your Bluetooth will be discoverable, your device will be discoverable. Here you need to put on a Bluetooth device and then it will be discoverable. But let me just cancel this, and if I click add a device, I click a wireless display adapter, you can see it says make sure that your device is turned on and discoverable. So at this moment I don't have any wireless device which need to be connected to this device. So here we can click cancel, and also we also have the same thing. For example, say we can click view more devices. You can see here's my Samsung. I have, it says not connected. I have a Jabra Evolve which is paired, but at this moment it's not connected. And you can see I'm using actually the black wire 52220 headset device which I'm using to do this recording at this moment. And you can see we have some other other devices. We have like the Dell, and also we have the USB root HB. That's let me just try to connect a USB device. Let me see if I have any USB device here with me. Let me see if this is going to work. Try to connect and see what happens. So you can see I just connected the device at this moment, and you can see that the device I just connected as a Data Traveler 3.0. I just connected. So let me take it out, and you can see it just went off. So that's how you connect your device. So you can actually monitor that device from here. So here you can see we have our sound and display. So if I click, for example, if I click my sound, you can see we have a headset, which of course is the Plantronic Blackwire I'm using right now, and also you can see the volume, and also the headset microphone is actually the same thing. And you can see when I'm speaking, it's going from 97, at the moment it's 97%. I can actually decrease or increase it as well. So speaking about volume, sometimes there are situations whereby you put on your device or you are working with your device and you observe that your volume settings or your sound is not working anymore. So let me close the settings of my laptop. Let me just close this. I'm back now to my virtual machine I'm using for this training. And if I go to my, here you can see that my volume, I just actually damp it, I reduce the volume. But let me just try to, I can actually just click on that and you can see I'll actually unmute it and increase the sound. But if you're having issues with your Windows, with your sound on your Windows 11 device, what you can actually do is, if I right click on this device, you can see we have Troubleshoot Sound Problems. So let me just click on Troubleshoot Sound Problems. So right now it's trying to detect what the problem is. So by trying to detect what the problem is, if it finds any problem, it's going to check all your audio service status. It's going to check all the different information to see if the services is on. And you can see it says turn off sound effect and enhancement. Okay, here it says turning off audio enhancement may improve sound quality. Okay, so yes, open the audio enhancement. And here you see we have the audio enhancement. So we can actually check here to see if we are having any issue. Here we can see, okay, we have our speakers, we have our we can go to the properties to check if the drivers is properly installed. You can check what is the date of the driver to see if the driver is up to date, and we have the driver's version. So the best way you can always also do is to go to the manufacturer website, the manufacturer of your laptop. Go to his website. If you are using HP, you need to go to the HP website, or Lenovo, you need to go to the Lenovo website, and then you can actually download the recent driver for your audio. So here we say we have the details. You can see I'm using the high definition audio devices, and also for the event you can see, just like I said before, every hardware device has its own event. So because you don't forget, we also have what we call the event viewer. So in the event viewer, that's where you can actually view all your errors. If you're having issues, you can actually view all your errors, view problems, issues. Let me just go here. You can see we have applications, we have systems. Let me enlarge this a little bit. We have our systems, so it's trying to actually open. So you can see in the event viewer, you can actually check to see if there are errors. For example, you can see we have some error. We say the server could not bind to the transport device. So here you can actually check what the error is and check if you have any problem. If you go to applications, and you can see a hardware event, and let me just click on the hardware event. Here you can see more. Here you can see we don't have any error message. Okay, this is actually for a different training. And here you can see we have every device has its own event to see if there are issues. It may actually record what the issue is. So let me close this. And also we can also go to the level, and here we can actually see the volume. Can increase the volume and check. And also for the enhancement, we can actually preview to see if we hear a sound. You can see I'm hearing actually a sound. We can decide to go to disable all enhancements, or we can actually say okay, the bass boost. So we can actually go and click also the virtual surround as well. And here in advanced, so let me just actually uncheck this, and here we can actually go to the advanced level, and we can do a test to see if we can hear sound on both of the headset, and then we can actually go to our spatial sound. You can see this is actually off. So let me we can actually restore our default if we'll think okay, everything is not set properly. If we can actually go to advanced and then restore default, you can see it goes to our default settings. And here we can see troubleshooting could not identify the problem. It says we can actually close this, or we can give feedback on this troubleshooter. So if I click view details, here you can see it's actually going to show us everything. It's actually trying to check issue not present, audio service not responding. So it's actually telling us all the different issues. Say there are no issue present. So if there are issues actually detected, it's going to tell you which of the issue was actually detected on this device, and then from there you can actually go on and try to troubleshoot what the problem is. So let me just cancel this. So if I right click again on my audio, you can see we have the open the volume mixer. So if I open the volume mixer and open here, you can see we have the system sound and we have the volume. So I can actually increase and I can actually just mute my volume. You can see the sound just get muted. It's a reset sound device and volume from all apps to the recommended default. We can actually do that, and you can see it's try to reset. And here we have the input and the output. You can see is the speakers, the high definition audio device, and for the microphone is also for the high definition audio device. But I'm using a virtual machine here. That's why my headset I'm using on my laptop is not actually connected to this device. So that's how you actually resolve any issue you're having with your sound or your volume. So let me close the system, so the volume mixer. And also let me go back again to our computer management. And then apart actually from going to device manager, let me go to disk management. And mind you, you can actually start the device manager and the disk management. If I right click on my start menu, and here you see we have the disk management and we also have the device management. So let me close this, and then right click on my start menu and we have the disk management. So if I go to the disk management here, let me just expand this. And here you can see I have my system disk, which I have the C drive, my system reserve, and here you can see our primary partition, and my operating system is actually installed on the C drive. So I have about 100 gigabytes, and you can see from the 100 gigabytes, about 50 megabytes is actually system reserved, and also we have our 507 the health recovery partition. So this actually, when something goes wrong with your device, this actually makes sure that you can actually recover your device from maybe going to your system start menu and then check for like recovered, take you back to a system that actually works before something went wrong with your device. And you can see I actually have some extra disk which was actually added to this device. So this is actually a virtual machine. So I added some extra disk. You can see it's about all about 5 gigabytes. These are 4 different disks I added to this device. So what we can actually do with this disk I have is we can actually create a new simple volume. So if I go to let me just open File Explorer. So here in File Explorer, if I go to this PC, you can see I'm only having one C drive. Let me disconnect. Let me just close this and to show more options, and let me just disconnect this. So you can see I'm only having one C drive. So if I go to my disk management again and I try to create a new simple volume next, so I'm going to use all the space. I'm going to assign the letter drive E, and here I'm going to actually just call this software, and I'm also going to perform a quick format, or we can say enable file and folder compression. So click next. And also for the file system, you can see we have the new technology file system, which is the NTFS, or we have the FAT32, which is the file allocation table 32. But for Windows 11 or Windows 10, I would always advise you to use the NTFS. So click next and we'll click finish. So it's going to create that system and then format it at the same time. You can see it says healthy primary partition. Primary partition means that we can actually install an operating system on this device. So if I go back again to my File Explorer, you can see I have an E drive here, and this drive at this moment there is nothing inside. It's actually formatted, so I can decide to create a new folder in this drive and just call this Kelvin. So let me just go back again, and here also we still have about 3 extra drive we can actually use to create some extra disk. So but if for example when I try to create a new disk, you can see I have the option to actually create a new simple volume. I can create a span volume, a strip volume, or new mirrored volume. So here by creating a strip volume, which means that when you actually create a new strip volume, 2 of this disk will actually be used. But when you copy a file to one of those drives, it's going to actually be copied to the other drive. So when something goes wrong with one of the drive, you still have the other drive as a backup to actually recover your file. So for example, we have like there are some different resilience system in Windows which you can create. We have, like, for example, we have the 2-way mirror, the 3-way mirror, and the parity. We have also the span volume. If I try to create a span volume, say the span volume is made up of a disk space on more than one disk, create a span volume if you need a volume that is too large for a single disk. So you can extend a span volume by adding free space from another disk. So when I try to click, so you can see definitely you will need 2 disks for you to be able to create a span volume. So by creating a span volume, this disk will actually be combined together to form one disk. So it gives you the opportunity to actually, if for example you can move large files to that span volume. So I'm not going to actually create that. And also we can actually create a mirrored volume. So let me say a mirrored volume duplicates your data on 2 disks. Create a mirrored volume, just the way it says, a mirrored. So it says create a mirrored volume if you want to keep 2 separate copies of all your information to prevent data loss. So just like I said before, if something goes wrong with one of your drive, you still have the information actually on the other drive to actually recuperate it if, for example, there's a data loss on one of your drive or one of your drive or your disk crashes. So you still have the other disk where you can actually retrieve all your information. So let me just cancel that. And also we have our software here. We can see the disk we just created, drive we just created. I can actually change the letter. It says we can actually change the drive letter and the path. You can see I can actually click change, and here we can actually assign a different letter to it, the M, and then click OK. So some program that relies on dry letters may not run correctly. So let me just click yes, and you can see it's actually going to change, and now it just change to the M drive. And also we also have the option to actually extend this volume. You can extend the volume by actually adding extra, or we can actually, it says add a mirror, or I can actually shrink this volume. So it can shrink, I can just shrink it, and you can shrink. You can see we have unallocated. So I can actually try to create a new simple volume again from this one, this drive I just shrink. And here we can also format this driver. Mind you, we try to format, you have the option to choose FAT32, FAT, or NTFS. And at the default, we're going to select the default and then click OK. And mind you, every single information on that drive will be deleted, and you will not be able to retrieve that information except you want to use a third-party software to actually get back your information. So if I click format, so it's going to actually delete everything in that drive. So when I go back again to my file explorer, try to open file explorer, and I go to my disk PC, and you can see everything. Now my drive, my folder is empty. And if I go to my recycle bin, so mind you, when you format a disk drive, the information on that disk does not go to your recycle bin. It's actually deleted from your device. To be able to get back those files you just deleted, you will need a third-party software to actually get those information back. So let me just close this. So lastly, let me discuss about display settings and graphic adapters. So if I go to my let me just go to Windows settings in Windows 11, and here you can see we have, under the system, we have our display. So if I click my display, see, and here you can see we have our display. You can see the night light is actually turned off, and we have some more about our HDR. But I'm actually using a virtual machine. You can see the display resolution is 192 times 1080, and it's say the scale is actually 100%, which is recommended. We can actually change this. We don't have a multiple display on this device right now because I'm using just one screen. So but let me go back again to my laptop where I have 2 displays, because I'm using 2 screen on to do this recording. So one screen is where I'm doing this recording, and the other one is actually a different screen, which is also from my laptop. So let me go to my Windows settings from my laptop, and here we have our system, and you can see we have our display. So you can see here is my HP EliteBook 850 G6. So if I go to display, you can see actually I'm using 2 screens here. You can see the screen 1 and screen 2. So if I click identify, you can see this is actually screen 2, and the other one is screen 1. And so here we have the options. You can see if I click on this, just to actually, you can see it says make this display. If I click here, you can see I can actually change this display screen number 2 to be my main display, which means that my start menu and everything will actually shift to the second display. So remember Windows location based on monitor connection. At this moment, my screen 1 is actually my main display, and also you see I just click the detect to actually detect other display. At this moment, we don't have any other monitor connected to this device, so we can actually connect to a wireless display if we wish. We can actually extend this display, and mind you also I can actually transfer this and move this together and move the 2 to 1, because at this moment my mouse is going actually not to the right to the right but to the left. So by actually moving the second screen and clicking apply, my mouse will be able to go back again to the left, but I will need to go to the right and turn it around to go to my other screen. So I don't want to actually do that right now. And here we have the options, actually the brightness. We can adjust the color of our screen, and also we have the resolution. You can see I have more options on my laptop compared to my virtual machine. So if I go to back to my virtual machine, you can see under the display resolution, under the scale, you can see we have 100%, just have 125%, 150 and 175%, and the display resolution, you can see all the options we have. But if I go back to the display setting of my laptop, you can see we have our recommended. We have around 25%, 150, 175%, and then for the monitor we have some more other options which we can change for the scale. And I mean for the display resolution, we can actually change from 1650 to 150, but it's actually the recommended, which of course is actually good for my screen at this moment. And also the display orientation, we can actually change to portrait or to portrait flipped. So be careful by changing this, because when you change it, it actually turns, and you may have actually issues by trying to actually use your display or use your laptop. And here we have the advanced display information. So here we can actually click and we can see the display mode, the active signal mode, the bit depth, the color format, and also we can actually the display data properties for display 2. Click that, and here you can see all the different options. So here you can see select a display. We can actually select display 1. You can see the information just changes, or you can select display 2. So let me go back again to my display. And here we have our graphics. So let me click on my graphic. Just trying to open. And here you see we have our custom options for apps. So we can actually change to Microsoft Store, or I can change to desktop. And here we can actually change and just try to scroll down and see if we have other options on the list we want to actually modify. So let me go back again to my display, and here we can actually extend this display. It says you can say show only screen 1 or show only screen 2, or at this moment the screen is being extended, or we can duplicate this display, which means when you duplicate the display, everything you are showing in screen 1 will be showed in screen 2, and everything you are showing in screen 2 will be showed in screen 1. So at this moment I don't want to actually duplicate my screen, I want to actually extend my screen. So thank you very much for taking your time to watch this video. This is all about hardware and devices. My name is Kelvin Johnson, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more IT videos. So this is a Windows 11 tutorial inside out training I've been doing, which is started from the part 1, and at this moment we are at the part 13. So the part 14 is going to be about troubleshooting. I'll also be discussing about backup and how to actually recover your software. So if you think you're having issues on how to back up your device, how to recover software, I'm also going to introduce you to a new software which you can actually use to recover deleted files if something goes wrong with your device, or if you delete a software by mistake. So please don't forget to also subscribe to my YouTube channel for more IT videos. And if you have any question or any comment, you can also leave a comment in the description of this video, or you can send me a personal email to my email, and I'll reply you as quick as possible. And please, you can always go back to my previous video, which is Windows networking, to understand how your device works and how to configure your network device, and how to configure network adapters, and how to resolve network issues on your Windows 11 device. Thank you very much for taking your time to watch this video, and hope to see you my next video, which is the part 14. Bye.